Shoulder, hold. Prepare to post the colors. Post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shoulder, return to post. Color guard, stop face. Color guard, forward march. Color guard, hold. Scout to knees, ground knees.
If you would, just join me in a moment of prayer for these young men. Father God, we do want to thank you so much for the strength that you've given Caleb, Thomas, Carter, Alex, and Rhett to get to this point. God, we thank you for the support that you've given them and their family and their friends and their scout leaders. God, we thank you for the wisdom that you've imbued all these young men with. God, we thank you for their creativity and their strength and everything that they've done to get to this point. God, we ask that you honor their service and their commitment. God, make this a moment, a pillar of remembrance. God, we just ask that you help them to celebrate tonight and enjoy the success. God, we pray these things. In the name of your son, Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, John. Man, welcome everybody. This is a great turnout, a great group of young men. Really I'm happy that we had to go send boys to get more chairs. That's really cool. I'd like to welcome you all here tonight. My name is Jay Blaylock. I am the scout master. Nobody else. I hope you'll all get a sense of this. What makes our troop work has nothing to do with me standing here. It has everything to do with a great group of kids and a fantastic group of men that are here week in, week out, camp outs. They give up all kinds of time. Thank you, moms, for allowing your sons and your husbands to go hang out with us. I'm convicted that that's what makes our troop work, and that's the reason we've got the numbers that we've got and the success that we've had. So I want to say that right off the bat and thank everybody. This is our Eagle Scout Court of Honor. We do this. We historically have done it once every year to a couple of years for a long time, since the 1980s. Believe it or not, guys, when I was in the position you guys are in, and again, these guys have achieved scouting's highest honor. And so this ceremony is all about 5 really exceptional young men. I wish if we had more time, I could tell y'all some hilarious stories about every one of us. I can tell you what pies Rhett really doesn't like. I can tell you about Carter's enormous nosebleed on a wilderness survival trip one time that he managed to survive. We can go on and on with every one of these things. But really, what I decided I want to do is take just a minute and talk about these kids. And I sat down today and was kind of thinking about it. And as I thought about each one of these candidates, there were a couple of things that came to mind that I think scouting has helped instill it, or at least scouting's kind of helped crystallize it where it's become way more obvious, right? These are probably character traits these guys have anyway, and scouts has just helped bring that to the forefront. Caleb Maxey. I got to giggling about you today, Caleb, and the term that came to mind for you was confidence. All right, Caleb, stand up real quick. Caleb could very easily pin me in about that long right now. But when he was 14, that was not the case, okay? He was about this tall, and he weighed about 48 pounds, and he was wet. And he came in one night in our troop election, and he had just gotten SCAR or whatever rank was kind of the threshold. And he came up and he said, I want to run for senior patrol leader. You know, all these big old guys standing there, you know, it just shaved so they'd look good for the election. And Maxey walks up and says, I want to run for senior patrol leader. And he won it, okay? And so the word that came to mind, the term that made me, that I thought of when I thought of you was confidence. And Caleb didn't necessarily exude that when he first joined us, but it didn't take him long to figure out that he was confident and approached his scouting and now his life with confidence. So, thank you, Caleb. Stand up, Rhett. You know, this is Rhett Snider. One of the main objectives of our program and of scouting in general is to instill in young men the attributes that give them practice being leaders. So really instilling leadership is one of the things that we focus on. And the scouting program is designed to do exactly that, and it's something we really work on in our troop. Rhett has been with us for several years now. He's our current senior patrol leader, which means he was elected by his peers to lead the troop. So that's an indication right there. Those of y'all that have been around us know that a bunch of the campouts and activities and things like that we do involve competitions. And I would promise you it is a wide spectrum of competitive activities, okay? We intentionally try to make it where it's not just who's the biggest, who's the strongest, who's the fastest. It's all about scout skills. It's about putting them in situations they're not accustomed to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When we have those types of activities, typically we award the winning team a pocket, okay? And the way we choose teams normally is we'll take our elected leaders, so senior patrol leader and patrol leaders, assistant senior patrol leaders, that kind of thing. We will make them team leaders, and then we will let the scouts decide whose team they want to be on. Every time we have done this for 3 years, I've had to walk over to the horde of scouts standing around Rhett and move them to other teams. Okay? How many pocket knives have you used? A lot. He's got a collection. He's going to open the museum one of these days. And again, it's not just that Rhett is physically skilled. It's not particularly fast. Okay? There's a lot of things Rhett does. But the thing that Rhett is, he is a natural leader. And I've never seen anybody with the natural skill set for leadership that Rhett has. And I'm convinced that Scouts has helped you kind of learn how to use that and express it. Leadership's the word I thought of. Carter Callaway. Carter, I can tell, there were lots of words that came to mind for Carter. But here's the one I thought of, and the one that I think is most pertinent. Carter, for his Eagle project, went way outside the box relative to what our troop has kind of historically done. And he came up, he figured out a need that our community had for a way to recycle and store used American flags so they could be retired properly. And Carter went out and organized a collection system. He not only did that, he went to different organizations around town and asked permission to build these collection facilities on their premises so that there were multiple places around town. He went way above and beyond what we normally see for an Eagle project. And not only that, here's the cool thing about it. Carter's project wasn't just a finish it and he's done deal. He is still our flag retirement coordinator, which was a brand new position we had to build in our troop because of Carter's project. So the word that came to mind for me when I thought about you, Carter, was service. And again, that is a push for scouting, and man, you exhibit that characteristic, and I think it's really cool. All right, where's Alan's Khouri? I'm sorry, I'm taking too long. There he is. Okay, turn around, let them see that sash. I'm not even sure they're all on there, but there are 36 merit badges on Alex's sash. Okay? Most of y'all know what merit badges are about. There are, to get Eagle, you have to earn 21 merit badges. There's a variety of subjects. Certain ones of those are required. So first aid, there's a whole litany of required merit badges. 36, I can only think of one other scout in my time as scoutmaster that has gotten close to that or gotten there. But the word, actually it's two words. What I thought about with Alex was intellectual curiosity, right? I love to see kids who come in. We have kids, guys, that they know they've got to take 21 merit badges, and they try to convince me they should be allowed to take horsemanship 13 times. That's not the case with Alex. Alex has earned, I think, every merit badge we offer at our summer camp and that we routinely offer in our program, and that he has gone out and either on his own or through merit badge academies and things like that, he has gone well above and beyond. And to me, that intellectual curiosity, man, I hope you can bottle that, Alex, and keep it, because the sky's the limit if that's an attribute you have. So that's what I thought of for Alex. All right, last but not least, where's Thomas? Stand up, Thomas. Again, Thomas is another one. There were several words that I wrote down and they crossed off for Thomas. Here's what I wound up going with Thomas. Thomas has been in our troop since before he was old enough to be a scout. He's served in every leadership role we've offered. He's participated in everything. He still comes on campouts, all that stuff. He's been a great scout. Thomas made himself a promise a long time ago that he was going to earn his Eagle Scout. Okay? He told me in a Scoutmaster conference one time that he had promised himself he was going to earn Eagle Scout. And let's agree that there was a small period there for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, where he might have slightly lost sight or forgot about that promise he made to himself. But let me tell you what, the light came on for Thomas when he was about, how old were you when you got serious again? He was about 17 and a half. He did the math, so mathematical ability could be the word for him. But he realized that if he waited any longer, he was going to miss the opportunity to fulfill the promise that he had made to himself. And to Thomas's credit, he got after it. And so, Thomas, the word that I thought of for you was commitment. And I appreciate your commitment, man. And it's really cool. So. Appreciate all of you being here. Let me check my notes here. I'm going to turn this over to Jack Hood, who's going to come up and talk about the pathway to Eagle.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Jack Hood, and just tickled to be part of this troop. I'll go through all my stuff here. I'll try to go as quick as I can. It looks like we don't have much time before our board might get a little questionable there. That's the price of success, though. So, you know, we're fixing to have to split this thing into two pieces where we can haul it around. And man, what a thing to be proud of. The first thing I want to do is I want to tell y'all a little bit about what this thing about being an Eagle Scout is. It's an achievement that's fairly rare. I don't believe nationally there's any more than 2 or 3% of any scout that enters into scouting that gets all the way to Eagle. There's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of things to be earned. The people that have attained that rank of Eagle Scout enjoy benefits that last the rest of their lives. Personally speaking, I remember when I was graduating college, I was interviewing, and I was interviewing for a position that paid really well. And when I walked in, the man had my resume or whatever the notes were, and he flipped down there and he saw that I was an Eagle Scout, and he turned everything upside down. And I thought, that's kind of interesting there. And I asked him, and he said, no, you've got a job. That's all I need to see was the fact that you were an Eagle Scout. And I tell you, I was hit me by like a ton of bricks. So it's something that people know about you. When I think the official resume of the President of the United States does not include anything that he's accomplished as a youth, except if he has made Eagle Scout. Anyway, going back, our troop is kind of a throwback troop, and that's really cool. We do things the way we do, and pulled some information out of a old 1938 handbook of scouters, and might be able to show you a few things about what an Eagle Scout is. I've written it down so I won't go long. Here we are today to honor these 5 young men as they become Eagle Scouts. And as we do so, it's important to reflect on what it means to be an Eagle Scout. This 1938 Handbook for Scoutmasters put it this way: the badges which accompany his advancement and which the scout wears on his uniform are not to show that he has passed certain tests. There can be no past tense implied on this. On the contrary, each badge cries out, "I can, right now, and here." So what can the Eagle Scout do? Let's take a look at some of the things he has done in preparing to be an Eagle Scout. In terms of badges, he has earned the Scout Badge in the ranks of Tenderfoot, Second Class, First Class, Star, Life, and finally Eagle. Along the way, he earned 12 required merit badges and 9 elective merit badges. He has served in troop leadership positions for a total of 16 months and has spent at least 13 hours on service projects, not including the many hours he spent on his own Eagle Scout service project. In all, he has completed approximately 325 different requirements. So what have these requirements taught him? Who is an Eagle Scout? First and foremost, of course, he's an outdoorsman. He knows how to camp, swim, hike, use woods tools, build a fire, use a camp stove, and find his way with a map and compass. He spent at least 20 days and nights camping out in a tent he pitched on a site he selected. Many of these times he planned his own menu and cooked his own food. The Eagle Scout is comfortable with nature. He can identify local animals and plants, including poisonous plants. He understands the causes of water, land, and air pollution and has developed a project to solve an environmental problem. He embodies the Scout motto, "Be prepared." He knows how to treat fractures, head injuries, hypothermia, convulsions, frostbite, burns, abdominal pain, muscle cramps, and even knocked out teeth. He knows what to do in case of fire, explosion, desert emergency, motor vehicle accident, mountain accident, food poisoning, gas leak, earthquake, flood, tornado, hurricane, atomic emergency, and avalanche. The Eagle Scout is a good citizen. He's been to a city meeting and knows how the city government is organized. He knows who his U.S. senators and representatives are and has written a letter to one of them about a national issue. He's read the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. He knows how to manage his money and understands the risks and benefits of putting his money in savings bonds, mutual funds, common stock, and real estate. He has set financial goals and worked toward achieving these goals. The Eagle Scout also has set and worked towards fitness goals. He's competed against himself in tests of aerobic endurance, flexibility, and muscular strength. He knows what it means to be physically, mentally, and socially fit. He's a good family member. He knows what things are important to members of the family and has talked to his family about finances, drug abuse, and growing up. All of these things he did in order to earn the merit badges required for Eagle. Beyond those, he earned 9 elective merit badges, which introduced him to such subjects as aviation, archery, small boat sailing, and canoeing. So what is an Eagle Scout? And to quote that old handbook for Scoutmasters again, he's a young man who is qualified to help others as well as take care of himself. His badge is not a declaration, but rather a symbol of knowledge and ability. We had an old district executive, friend of our troop, Roy Loris, and he went to Houston, pulled together some statistics for me a few years back, and I'd just like to throw them out for you. This is scouting bottom line. What happens to a scout? For every 100 boys who join scouting, records indicate that rarely will one be brought before the juvenile court system, 2 will become Eagle Scouts, 17 will become future scouting volunteers, 12 will have their first contact with a church through scouting, 1 will enter the ministry, 5 will earn their Faith's Religious Award. 18 will develop a hobby that will last through their adult life. 8 will enter a vocation that was learned through the Merit Badge program. 1 will use his scouting skills to save his own life, and 1 will use his scouting skills to save the life of another person. It says here that scouting's alumni record is equally impressive. A nationwide survey of high schools revealed this following information. 85% of student council presidents were scouts. 89% of senior class presidents were scouts. 80% of junior class presidents were scouts, and 75% of school publication editors were scouts, and 71% of sports captains were scouts. Scouts also accounted for 64% of Air Force Academy graduates, 68% of West Point graduates, 70% of Annapolis graduates, 72% of Rhodes Scholars, 85% of FBI agents, and 26 of the first 29 astronauts. Today we honor these 5 scouts, which are 1 in 500. We know the things they've done in the past, and we can only imagine the things they're going to do in the future. I'll turn this over at this point to our speaker now, Kevin Sparks.
Well, in full disclosure, I don't know that I'll need it, but in full disclosure, I'd have to confess that I'm not sure I'd be prepared in a nuclear disaster, and I was not a Rhodes Scholar, so, but I am an Eagle Scout. So it's my name is Kevin Sparks, and it is my distinct privilege to address this fine group of young men being honored here today for their hard work and diligence. While you are the ones receiving the award tonight, we're also recognizing the efforts and commitment of those who helped you achieve your goal. Parents and other family members, scout masters and adult volunteers, older troop members who helped give you guidance, pastors and members of your church community. All these and others have played a role in helping you achieve the award that you're receiving tonight. As a member of Scout Troop 110, in 1978, I received my Eagle Scout Award. And I am so thankful that I'm wearing a uniform, because at that time, if I hadn't been wearing a uniform, I'd been wearing a triple knit polyester suit. So I'm the product of an Eagle Scout. I'm actually a 3rd generation Eagle Scout. My dad and my grandfather were also Eagle Scouts. And one of my sons, who is here tonight, is 4th generation Eagle Scout in our family. So my grandfather, actually a scoutmaster and a great mentor, and scouting is all about mentoring younger men. Had a lot of stories from his time as a scoutmaster up in Amarillo, Texas, but the one that I felt like probably really applied tonight for you young men was one when my dad, as an older scout, had developed quite a social calendar. On Friday evening, as he's headed out the door, my grandfather asked him if he was ready for the hike the next morning. And he kind of sheepishly admitted that he hadn't quite planned well enough, and asked my grandfather if he wouldn't mind packing his pack for him. My grandfather happily agreed. So the next morning they get up and they were doing a hike in Palo Duro Canyon. Being in Amarillo, they spent a lot of their scouting time doing activities at Palo Duro Canyon. And so that particular morning, the whole troop was going to be hiking from the base of the canyon up to the rim. And, about halfway up, as things began to warm up, Dad tells that he began to kind of wear down. I don't know, you guys have all been packing. You know what it's like. First thing in the morning, you throw that pack on, and you go, gosh, it's not that bad. about 2 miles into it, you're beginning to think, well, maybe I should have left out that extra pair of socks. Well, they get all the way to the top, and the top rim of Paladar Canyon is just great big flat boulders. It's a great place to take in the scenery of the canyon, the beauty of all of that land. And so my grandfather tells everybody, pull your packs off, let's have lunch. And says, hey, would anybody enjoy some peaches today? And everybody their eyes kind of brightened up. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And they thought, well, what kind of idiot would hike peaches all the way to the top of the canyon? Don, go ahead and open up your pack there. Why don't you break out those peaches for these guys? And he had loaded my dad's pack with those big 10-pound cans of peaches. And it was just a great lesson on responsibility. And I think scouting teaches us a lot about responsibility. First, being responsible ourselves, but then also your responsibility to others. The things I learned in scouting helped prepare me for life. It is, as I said earlier, it's a great mentoring program. You're trained by adult volunteers and older scouts. Then you give back by training younger scouts. 150 years ago, young men worked under the guidance of their fathers. And then at some point in time, they either learned a trade under the guidance of their dads or, some other tradesman. They learned not only how to work, but they also learned life skills, like how to conduct business, how to treat their customers, how to work with others, and how to be good leaders. With the Industrial Revolution, men left the farms, moved to the cities, and it changed their whole way of life. Scouting has helped fill the gap as they left the fields and no longer spent all day with their sons. So your scout training is just one stone in your lifelong pursuit of building your character. Dallas Willard, an American philosopher known for his writing on Christian spiritual formation, wrote this. He wrote often about the slow, unglamorous building of character. The slow, unglamorous building of character. Have you ever seen a stacked fence? Stacked fences are pretty common in England, and you see a lot of them actually in places like Kentucky and Tennessee, and as you go back east. In the old days, a man cleared a piece of land to farm, and as he's clearing all the trees, he's also having to clear the rocks and the boulders off of that so he can actually cultivate it. As he removed those rocks and stones, he'd pile them up in the corner of his field, and then in the off season, he would meticulously stack those stones in along his property line and create a boundary for his property. Those stones, where they originally lay, were impediments to cultivating his field. Once removed, they became a tool that he could use in defining his property. The obstacles and challenges that you guys have faced in scouting have made you stronger and smarter men. The challenges you'll face in life will continue to refine you and develop you. Our society is in deep need of young men that have been trained with the scouting principles. I can still recite the scout oath and the scout law, which is unbelievable that Jill can call me with a list of 3 things to pick up at the grocery store, and I can't get home with all 3 of those things. But 40 years later, I still know those. So for those of you who know it, right, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, right? So on my honor, I'll do my best to do my duty to God and my country. Not because I'm compelled by others, but because I have a deep sense of honor and duty to do this on behalf of others. I will be at the disposal of others to help them, but in order to do that, I've got to remain physically strong. I've got to remain mentally alert, and I have to have a character that compels me to do the right thing. So the Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. So trustworthy. A Scout's trustworthy, even when there's no one around, right? Kind of another definition of character is someone who'll do the right thing when nobody's looking. Loyal in all circumstances, not just when it's convenient. A Scout's helpful. This embodies kind of the spirit of volunteerism, helping to share the burden of those around us. A Scout is friendly. You may be the one that has the opportunity to brighten someone's day. A Scout is courteous. That means we treat others with respect, no matter what station in life they find themselves in. A Scout's kind. We do unto others as we would hope they would do unto us. A Scout's obedient. And I would say obedient first to the Word of God. We are actually facing the fact that our nation is now in a post-Christian world. And if you don't know God's Word, it's hard to be obedient to it. So with that, I would highly encourage you guys to spend some time in the book of Proverbs. It's great. It is great information and great coaching for young men, and really for men of all ages. Obedience also to those that are in authority to us. You know, we've seen in really the last few weeks, read several articles about parents that have, attacked referees or umpires at their kids' sporting events. I mean, just shameful. We've seen over the last several years how, especially the younger generation, really has developed a disdain for our peace officers. God created us to fall under His authority first, and then others that He sets above us. A Scout is cheerful. We do all things as though we're working for the Lord. A Scout is thrifty. That means we are good stewards of the things that God has entrusted to us. A Scout is brave. So we're men with the courage to do the right thing. A Scout is clean. We're a reflection of God, a reflection of our families, a reflection of our church community, and sometimes our employer. And so how we present ourselves is important. And finally, a Scout is reverent. We have a deep sense of profound respect and love towards God. Achieving the rank of Eagle Scout is an impressive task and should be celebrated as we do here tonight. I want to congratulate each of you on your award and achieving the distinguished rank of Eagle Scout. I heard Governor Rick Perry say that becoming an Eagle Scout is the only thing that you'll do before high school graduation that will be on your permanent resume. But your Scout training is just one stone in your lifelong pursuit of building character. Dallas Willard also quoted as saying, it's not the accomplishments you achieve, it's the person you become. Let me read that again. It's not the accomplishments you receive, it's the person you become. And as Mr. Hood alluded to this earlier as he was talking about the qualifications and all the things you do to achieve your Eagle Scout, it's the journey. It's not just achieving this award. It's all of those things that you have to do that are building your character, building your physical abilities, it's building your mental abilities. It's hiking from the canyon floor to the top. Not just to be at the top, but to drive through the hardships of rising to the top. So in closing, Caleb, Rhett, Carter, Alex, Thomas, I want you guys to see this is just the next step in your slow, unglamorous building of character. To the other members of your troop, you guys out there, aspire to achieve your Eagle Scout. But to all of you, remember that the steps you take today will help determine where you are tomorrow. The Apostle Paul reminds us in Philippians 1:6. He says, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Joe Chapman left a list here of the obligations of an Eagle Scout. I'd like to present those to you through the use of our Eagle Court. Those 5 guys are Eagle Scouts. Y'all come up. No, not the honorees tonight. These are our Eagle Court. There's a lot of symbolism in this Eagle Scout thing, and the colors that we have, it'll show up on all this stuff, our up here, but more importantly, our badge, and they tell something about what our program is. The note I have here: becoming an Eagle Scout is a great accomplishment. Being an Eagle Scout is a great responsibility. The Scout Oath and the Scout Law that Kevin just recited to us take on new meaning. The motto and slogan take on new urgency. Let's do the Eagle Scout's first obligation.
The Eagle's first obligation is to live with honor. He is a marked man, a leader. For good or ill, people will follow the example he sets. He would sooner give up anything than his reputation and good name. As Shakespeare said, mine honor is my life, both grow in one. Take honor from me, and my life is done. The white of the Eagle badge represents honor.
Second.
The second obligation of an Eagle Scout is to be loyal. As a follower, he promised to be loyal to those above him. Now, as a leader, he must also be loyal to those below him, treating them as he would want to be treated. He must also be loyal to his ideals, not letting others sway him from his course. The blue in the Eagle badge represents loyalty.
Very good.
The Eagle Scout's third obligation is to be courageous. Stepping into his new role as a leader, he will face many challenges and obstacles. A ship in the harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are for. The Eagle must have the courage to do what is right, no matter what other people do or say. The red of the Eagle badge represents courage.
The fourth obligation of an Eagle Scout is to serve others, for a leader is above all a servant. The practice of daily good turn leads the Eagle to a lifetime of service. He knows that only in giving of himself does he give anything of value. Just as it always has, the scroll on his badge represents service.
The final obligation of an Eagle Scout is to have vision. As a leader, he must now blaze his own trail. Just as a bald eagle soars follow him, only with vision he will lead them in the right direction. The silver eagle hanging from his badge reminds the Eagle Scout of vision.
These then are the obligations of the Eagle Scout: honor, loyalty, courage, service, and vision. With these qualities, he can lead his troop, his community, and his nation towards a better tomorrow. Thanks a lot, man. Y'all go ahead and sit down. At this point, I'd like to bring our Eagle Scout honorees up front. You guys stand right here. Fine looking cast of characters there. All right. By virtue of the authority vested in this court by the National Council, the Boy Scouts of America, upon recommendation of various responsible persons and after thorough investigation of you, the applicants, I have the honor to give you the Eagle Scout charge on this occasion of your elevation to the highest rank in scouting. The Boy Scouts of all nations constitute one of the most wholesome and significant movements in the world's history, and you have been found worthy of the highest rank in its membership. All who know you rejoice in your achievement. Your position, as you well know, is one of honor and responsibility. You are marked men. As an Eagle Scout, you have assumed a solemn obligation to do your duty to God, to country, to your fellow scouts, and others. This is a great undertaking. You will live up to these obligations and bring honor to yourself and your brother scouts. You cannot fail and bring down the standard of all others. Your responsibility goes beyond your fellow scouts to God and your country. America has many good things to give to you and those who follow you, but these good things depend, for the most part, on the character and leadership abilities of her citizens. You come to help America in all that she needs most. You are here to help make her future greater. I charge you to undertake your citizenship with a solemn dedication. Be a leader, but lead only toward the best. Lift up every task you do and every office you hold to the highest level of service. By doing so, all may live better. Y'all repeat after me our oath. I now ask you to join me in taking the oath of an Eagle Scout. I reaffirm my allegiance to the three promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and take upon myself the obligations and responsibilities of the rank of Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example. My rank and my influence count strongly for better scouting and for better citizenship in my troop, and to give back more to scouting in the future than scouting has given to me. To this I pledge my sacred honor. All right, congratulations, guys. Y'all might sit down at the chairs or something like that. I want to bring up Jay now and do our awards presentation.
Before we do that, Kevin, I want to thank you. It was one of my tasks was to bring Rhett up here to say the Scout Law and Scout Oath, and I totally forgot, so I appreciate you covering. Thank you. All right. Yeah. I pen from Phoebe and wrote down what I was supposed to do later, and then as Kevin led him in the oath, first I scratched it off, and then he did the law. So I was pretty clear. Okay, what I would like is, what we're going to do now is we're going to bring parents up, and we might do that one guy at a time since we got 5 of these guys up here, and we're going to present their awards to them, okay? And let's just start with Thomas. Sean, if you guys want to come on up here, Sean and Valerie, and right here's stuff right here. So find yours, Thomas. And what I'd like to do, Valerie, if you wouldn't mind, would you pin his Eagle Award on his uniform pocket? Yep. should, okay, Thomas, all these guys have a couple of pins here. They've got mentor pins that they can award to whoever they want. They've got one for the mom and one for their dad. Thomas, would you take that mom pin and pin it on your mom carefully? Now, Thomas, give your mom a hug and tell her thank you. All right, Sean, if you'll take Thomas's sash, you can put that on him after a while. If you'll take Thomas's sash, put that on him, replace his old one. Or not his sash, his neckerchief, sorry. Discretion. All right, Thomas, shake your dad's hand. Tell him thank you. Great job, Thomas. Whatever y'all want to do. Pin it on if you want to. There's a dad pin in here too. I think they'll have a chance to do their mentor pins here. All right. Okay, come on, Alex. Doc and Rodney, y'all come on up. Alex, give your mom a hug, tell her thanks. All right, Doc, get that sash on. Oh, you're gonna do that? That's fine. Do that, man. Alex Khouri, everybody. Oh, shake your dad's hand. Tell him thank you. All right, Caleb, you ready? You're Carly, you and Russell, come on up.
Every year we swear we're gonna practice this. All right, Caleb, get your mom pin her. Give your mom a hug, tell her thank you. Pin your dad. All right, Russ, that's action.
Carter Callaway, everybody. If parents of any of our Eagles have comments they want to make, you guys have the floor. Oh, wait, sorry, Doc. No, I'm not. I'm going to turn it over to our new Eagles. If any of you guys have comments you want to make, or if you want to award mentor pins or anything like that, you guys have the floor.
I got 2 mentor pins to give out tonight, and the first one is to someone who's been with me since Cub Scouts and helped me along my path. He's also like 3 feet taller than me, Mr. Stretch Warner.
Yeah!
One more that's here tonight. He helped me out with my Eagle project, and I definitely couldn't have done it without him. He provided his workspace, a lot of the materials, most of the materials, and just helped me design blueprints and all of that. Mr. Sullivan, please.
Always kept on top and helped me achieve goals that I probably wouldn't have been able to do without him. So, Joshua, come on.
Gentleman in the crowd tonight who doesn't know that this is what he's here for, but if Mr. Tim Stollard would come and accept this mentor pin, I'd like to give it to him. He's a man that leads by example, and he's kind to everyone he encounters.
Only have 1 pin tonight, but I'd like to give it to my grandfather, who's been with me and been encouraging me throughout my entire Scouts career, Max Snider.
I would like to give my mentor pin to Jay Blaylock. He's always been there for me and always supported me throughout Scouts, especially when he didn't have to.
Sometimes my son likes to mock me by stating that he's an Eagle Scout, but I on the other side, are slowly becoming a bald eagle. I remember when my son was young, I had lots of plans for him and lots of ambition. And I wanted to do great things, but the most important thing for me was I wanted him to grow up to be a man, a real man. So I used to bring him to the park and throw the football and throw hoops and go to the shooting range and learn firearms. Down there's something to fix on the car in the house, I would bring him and give him something to do so he could learn how to do all that stuff. And then right around that time, Alex's friend Justin invited him to join the Scouts. And I did not know what it was about because I was not into the Scouts. We all heard the expression, it takes a village. When I came into Troop 232, I met other men like Jay, who's really into, who's passionate about hunting, and Jeff, who's a Marine sniper, and Dusty, who's a survival expert, and Sean, who's a firearm instructor, and Russell, who's a world-class rock climber, and Stretch, has a long experience in being a firefighter at EMT. And when I look back, and I don't forget Steve Blaylock, we all know that without Mr. Blaylock's significant investment in time, effort, and money, none of that would have ever happened in the first place. And when I look back at all the stuff that those guys have taught my son, I have to admit, this is the best village I could have ever found for my son. And now today, of course, he's an Eagle Scout. I'm proud of him, of course, and it makes me happy. But what makes me even happier is that when I look at him, I can see that he's well on his way to becoming a real man. Good job.
Khouri, that was very eloquent, very well said, and just a big congratulations to all of our Eagle Scouts. Rhett, I'm exceptionally proud of you. Rhett has the unfortunate position of being the oldest of 10 children, so he is the guinea pig, to say the least. And we are also a multi-generational scouting family, and I'm very proud of you for continuing that tradition, son, and setting a very high bar for your brothers. And I would also just echo a significant thanks to Troop 232, all the men who are here tonight, and all those who came before them on whose shoulders we're standing. It absolutely does take a village, and there is no better place in the world to raise boys than in this troop. And thanks also to our church as well for participating and helping foster all the things that we're trying to encourage in these young men. So, congratulations.
Okay, I'm gonna try this, but I'm always the big emotional guy. When we moved here, actually we were in this room 8.5 years ago. The first meeting we came to was a court of honor where the scouts get all their merit badges and things like that. And we'd heard about this troop over in Odessa. We're foreigners, we live 15 miles away here. But Valor and I, my wife, we've talked about it. And throughout our marriage, we've moved several times. But every time we moved, we knew God had a reason. This was the reason. To find this troop, to find the Blaylocks, the impact that they've made on our family, on our sons. I can't, Doc said it best, we found the right village. There's villages all over the world, but this is a village that God brought us to. And I'm so thankful for that. Thank you.
So I just want to say thank you so much to everybody here who has invested in our kids. And gentlemen, young men, thank you all so much for following through on the commitment. As a dad who is encouraging in lots of ways at home, I know it's not easy to try to get your kid there sometimes, and the conversations you have are sometimes not fun. And so, men in this troop, thank y'all for being the ones who are there to work with them, to continue to build upon them, to continue to invest in them, and say the things that as a dad sometimes I want to say, but a lot of times the message comes through so much better coming from another man's voice. And so we just know that that's the case. I know in my own life that was a case where my dad could have said things 100 times till he was blue in the face, and all of a sudden somebody else would say it, and I listened for the first time, I guess. But that is what I appreciate, I think, most about this troop is the men in this group who have invested in my son with your skills, the many things that you have and that you can do that I don't have, the ways that you, the experiences that you have developed and you've been able to pour into our boys is just incredible. Thank you for the expertise you're willing to share. Thank you for the commitment you have to not only your own son, but to mine. And Carter, I am so proud of you. Way to go. Way to follow through and way to pull it out. We didn't know if it was going to happen about 6 to 8 months ago. So yeah. So yeah. So I'm impressed with you digging your heels in and getting it done. And what a phenomenal ride it's been. So thank you, Troop 232, and thank you, Steve and Jay and all the men who've come before.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not prepare for this, but I don't really need to because, look, I grew up in this troop. This was my home troop with Jay and Jeff and some of these other guys, and I had the experience of growing up underneath Steve and Joe and whatnot, some of these other men, and when I got older and had boys and they started becoming of age, I said, you know, I've got to get back to Troop 232. So I brought my boys to Troop 232, and I'm so glad I did, because as much as you guys have learned from us and our experiences and everything, I guarantee you, every single one of these dads that have stood up here and talked tonight have learned just as much from you guys. And it has been the greatest thing next to your birth that I have been a part of, is to be a part of this troop and raising our boys in this troop. So I want to thank everybody, all the parents, all the men that are still here, and all the boys. And congratulations to you all.
I'm the other half of Thomas, and I know he cries, and there's no way I could be up here with him. But I do want to let you know that as a mom and as the woman that we have around that support, I want to say that we appreciate the men that are raising our boys to become men. And that's very, very special to us. And so on behalf of moms and women in the troop, we would like to say thank you very much for what you pour into our guys, even when you no longer have children in the trooper stuff. So thank you very much for that.
I know y'all have seen enough of me, and I've seen enough of me walking up here today. I say thank you to everybody here. Kevin, thank you very much for a great challenge. Kevin is our soon-to-be elected state senator for our district. We really do appreciate you taking the time, and I know, Garrett came through our troop. You guys are part of our family, and we appreciate you being willing to come back and do this in the midst of a really busy time.
Thanks for asking.
So we appreciate our district representatives being here. Very nice to see y'all. We appreciate you coming. You guys are always invited. Every meeting we have is exactly like this. So thank y'all for being here. Parents, none of this works, and I'm talking dads and moms and everybody that's involved. None of this works if you guys don't make the commitments that you do. These guys start out when they're 11 and 12, and you got to drive them everywhere. They're all playing every sport, and acting in plays, and doing everything else. But none of this matters if y'all don't make the commitment to get them here. So we really appreciate that. We've been really lucky over the years to have just a fantastic group of kids come through our program, and that's a reflection on you as their parents. Dads, those of you that have woken up in the mud and the snow and the rain and the sleet and screaming kids and javelinas and whatever else for years and years, I certainly wouldn't be here without the help that you guys did. Russ, for example, Russ and I were in Scouts together. Man, he has taken over helping steer these guys through the process that everybody dreads, right? Which is the paperwork involved in getting this legal stuff done. I don't have the skill set to do that. Russ does, and I deeply appreciate it. Jack, who? Jack, when was the last time you had a boy in our church? Yeah. Jack has been coming. Speaking of things I don't have a skill set for, Jack handles all of our administration. The man is, he is our official records maven. He interfaces with, he just does so much for us in a totally thankless position, and has done it for years and years and years since his son got his eagle and moved on. So, man, and I could go on. Stephen Parker, his son is what, how old is that, 4, 3? So he's got a 3-year-old. He doesn't even have a boy old enough to be in our troop, and he's been coming and helping us since before he got married, okay? And I could go on and on down the list, guys. None of this works without all of you parents, the support from you guys at the office, and man, you dads that just keep coming and keep helping. None of this happens without you. And finally, I just want to say, you know, you hear a lot about you guys' generation when you read the news or watch TV, and most of it's negative. And young men like you guys give me a lot of confidence in what the future of our country looks like. And I want to thank you guys for being the men that you've become. I'm going to give the floor back to John David. He's going to close us in prayer, and then we will have our color guard come back through and retire the colors. And then after that, we'll have a reception. The parents, by the way, the parents of the Eagles put all of this stuff together. There's some really fantastic displays for each one of our Eagles. I encourage you all to walk around. Sorry, I called you up a little early. The last thing I want to say, there are 150 Eagles on that hanging sign. So the reason that thing's got the lean that it does is that chalkboard is no longer structurally able to hold up all of the Eagles from our troop. The 5 new ones, Stephen Parker has started us a new board back over here, and we will probably need to do a transfer. So actually, I guess we're at 155 now since the formation of our group. So kudos. You guys that are not Eagles yet, I hope y'all have watched this deal and paid attention. I'll be expecting to see, Ruben, you paying attention? I'll be expecting to see a whole bunch of you guys up here in the very near future, okay? Thank y'all for coming. David, have that.
One of my favorite pieces of scripture is Joshua chapter 4. In Joshua 4, you see him encourage the people of Israel to build a pillar to remind them what God has done and what they've achieved. And so, guys, I would encourage you to just remember what God has done, what you have achieved, and when things get hard, look back on moments like this and build upon this foundation. We pray. God, I want to thank you so much for what these men have accomplished. God, we do thank you for this achievement. But God, we recognize that no achievement like this is possible without the strength of you. God, we recognize that no accomplishment like this is possible apart from family and friends. And so, God, we celebrate what these guys have done, and we thank you for the support of a wonderful community, a wonderful village, of God, just a great group of men that have struggled together and built something great. God, we ask that as they go out in the next phase of life, college, careers, whatever it is, God, help them to use what they learned in Scouts, to use what they learned becoming an Eagle Scout. God, just to become great men of God who are wonderful contributors to this country. God, we pray these things. In the name of your Son, Jesus.